Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, folks. And today we have a very, very serious conversation to have. I need your help because there is a question that needs to be asked, and it needs to be asked right now. All right, folks, let's get into this. Um, Hopefully, we are enjoying our holiday season. Let's get this started right. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and you know what? Follow us on X at Dominant Mets down below. All right, now let's get into it right about now. The question is Juan Soto was signed the other day, gave the Mets a huge advantage. Huge advantage. Red Sox were looking for him. Yankees were looking for him. Blue Jays were looking for him. Many teams were looking for the services of Juan Soto. Juan Soto chose us, the New York Mets. Put us ahead of the rest. We started off basically the offseason with a huge advantage, right? Best player in the offseason, best free agent in quite a while. So since then, Yankees have made moves. Red Sox have made moves. A bunch of teams have made moves to better themselves. Today, we've seen a couple great big moves. Devin Williams going to the Yankees. And I got to say, that is a great move for the Yankees. Trading away Cortez and a minor leaguer, that 5'6", 5'7" minor leaguer, very iffy. If he has a very iffy major league career, that's a good trade for the Yankees. A good trade. That is a trade that the Mets, if they were more aggressive, I hope they were exploring it. I really hope they were. And also, Kyle Tucker went to the Cubs. All right, maybe that wasn't a fit, but still, you want to explore every single option no matter what. Garrett Crochet, another option off the table. Nathan Eovaldi, maybe a lesser option, but nonetheless, these options are coming off the table. Max Fried, off the table. Best option left, obviously, bar none, and I'm not including Roki Sasaki yet, but the best option that money can buy is Corbin Burns. And it seems like we're not even kicking the tires on that. Not even kicking the tires. And you know what, folks? I think that is a shame. Whether the price tag is too high, okay, that is debatable. That is debatable because we are in win now mode. When you have a Juan Soto, you have to go all in, right? So we're going to talk about some issues that, I'm identifying. I know you are identifying, but let's learn from history. Let us learn from history. Brian Cashman, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I'll give him credit. He was ahead of the curve. He was ahead of the curve. They were buying up all the good talent at the time. And every single year, the New York Yankees always seem to make that, that trade at the deadline that you're like, oh, wow, why didn't the Mets make that trade? Or why didn't another team make that trade? It was just so obvious that it would help the team. And the Yankees always seem to manage to make that trade and not give up anything of value. So, you know what? Years go by, the league catches up to the New York Yankees. Then they hit a rut in 2015, 2016. Nobody's trading with Brian Cashman. The prices on external talent is through the roof, and the Yankees have to reset. But Brian Cashman was stubborn. He was stubborn. Pitching always wins, but he did not want to pay for top pitching. Didn't. Always felt that he could develop from within. Then year after year, getting knocked out of the ALCS, losing year after year to the Astros. Then he started to realize, okay, I need a Garrett Cole. A couple of years ago, okay, now I need a 2. I need a Carlos Rodon. I'm not saying these are all great moves, but I'm saying he compiled pitching, signed a Max Fried this offseason, and now you're able to turn that Nestor Cortez into some very, very important, guy in a very dominant closer, one of the most dominant closers out there, Devin Williams. So, I mean, you got to give him credit in that respect. Now, Mets fans wondering, why didn't the Mets do that? Well, we don't have any expendable pitchers right now. We have no pitchers that we can trade away. Our equivalent of Ernesto Cortez would probably be David Peterson. Could we afford to give up a David Peterson with our rotation in its current state? Hell no. Hell no. On our live stream last night, we were talking about how the Mets are taking on project after project. Clay Holmes, is he a starter? Has he ever been a starter at a high level in the major leagues? Not really. Project. Frankie Montas, has he been productive in the last couple of years? No. Project. So you can't keep taking on project after project. And the reason why we were considering this is Walker Buehler a good fit for the New York Mets? Maybe, but at the end of the day, what would he be? A project. He hasn't been productive since 2021. That's 3 years ago. So the Mets are going into the season. I mean, obviously, there's still a lot of time, but right now we are in mid-December and there are a lot of questions to be answered. Yes, there's still a whole hell of a lot of time, but last year's philosophy by Stearns didn't really net any great significant talent. Yes, we developed Manaea, and I would say he was the most talented pitcher overall, but still, Manaea's out there. Is he on the roster? We know he can perform in New York. What's the problem? We have money. Sign him. What's the deal right now? Be aggressive. Make an aggressive offer. If he doesn't accept, then you go on and you be aggressive in another move. It just seems like right now we're waiting for the market to expand. I don't get it. I really don't get it. That's my frustration right now. So, Soto, great move. But do I give that credit to Stearns or do I give the credit where it's deserved to Mr. Steve Cohen? That was a move, written, designed, authored by Mr. Steve Cohen. I'm not going to give credit to David Stearns on that one. Not going to give credit. I'll tell you, when he makes a creative trade or a creative move, I will. Brian Cashman, great move. Signing Fried, I wasn't blown away by that, but by him signing Fried, that gave him extra pitching collateral that he can ship off with Devin Williams. And that move I do like. He was playing a couple moves ahead. So I do hope right now that Stearns will, get pitching talent, a legit pitching talent, because it's going to be an issue, folks. It will be an issue. I'm looking at the board, and Stearns, I misspelled his name, but you know what? Right now, you got to earn your name being spelled correct. So I'm going to go with that excuse. So last year, when David Stearns was traded to the New York Mets, basically every big organization was saying, expect the Mets brewification under Stearns, right? So he was going to take his philosophy and transform that into the New York Mets. Despite the Mets being in New York, despite the Mets having the richest owner in baseball, will David Stearns adapt or die? That's going to be my thing. I'm going to keep saying it. Will the man adapt or die? Last year, we went into it, small market moves. Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, despite having good years, those were both small market moves. Last year, Stearns spent $59 million on 8 free agents. 8 free agents last year. Rotation ended up being Kodai Senga, Jose Quintana, Severino, Manaea, and Adrian Hauser. This year, the rotation has to be heads and shoulders better. The next couple rotation spots, are you going to tell me you fill it like this? Luis Castillo, Sean Manaea, Roki Sasaki. Those are the 3 moves you make. That's a solid rotation. You still have some good options in the bullpen. You make a couple aggressive moves. In the lineup, you want to remain aggressive. You sign Jock Peterson to be your DH. You go out, you get a Cody Bellinger to play center field. Then you go out and you sign Pete Alonso. That way, up and down your lineup, you will have a juggernaut. That is what you do. That is what a boss team, a team that wants to compete with the Dodgers does. But, the Mets, David Stearns, it seems like we are being very hesitant. We had the lead 5 days ago, 6 days ago when you signed Soto. Now other teams are taking advantage and they are being aggressive. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you right now. The Mets have to step up right now, and they have to step up in a big way. I'm not clapping hands for weeks and weeks. You signed Soto. That was days ago. What's the next move? Next move, I was hoping it was going to be Garrett Crochet. Didn't happen. Next move after that, I was hoping it would be Devin Williams. Didn't happen. Everybody else, all their competition, they're able to be aggressive. They're able to get the job done. Why aren't we? We have the most resources. We have Steve Cohen as the owner, and we supposedly have the baseball genius in David Stearns himself. What is the damn problem? We're making New York, Queens, a destination where players want to be, want to go. I'm having trouble here. I'm having trouble. Are we not being creative enough? You can't tell me it's money. You cannot tell me it's money. You cannot tell me it's money. And we also do have the prospects to get this done. We have 6 or 7 shortstops in the minor leagues. Be a little creative, compile an attractive package, go out and get Luis Castillo. What are we waiting for? Are we waiting for another team to strike out and miss out on their said desired player and then have them be in the market for Luis Castillo? No. While another team is distracted, go get your target. Go get your target. Now to move on to the next topic. Now the Yankees got this starter, got a closer, and now you supposedly give them time to pivot to the Alonso market. Now, I don't know if that's a smokescreen, but that's the latest rumor, that the Yankees are supposedly interested in the polar bear. And to boot, on top of that, the polar bear is interested as well. It's mutual interest. Now, here's the deal. If you want to make the most money and get the highest contract, you need the New York teams in the running. You need them. That's how you're going to bid up the offers and get a highest contract. So I'm not really sure, I should be overreacting about that. But the fact of the matter is, if the day after the Mets sign Soto and goes, hey, Alonso, we're going to give you $175 million. Meet us in the middle. You'll be a Met for the rest of your career. You're going to play behind Juan Soto. You're going to be in a Mets Hall of Fame, and you will be a Met for life. We're going to love you here. You're going to love it here, and let's get going. Let's get ready for opening day. Let's go. I think there's a high probability, and you also say the offer's on the table for, 2 days. You got 48 hours. I apologize, but as you know, we're building a World Series championship team, and we need to make decisions quickly. So that's what we do. That's what we do. But no, it doesn't seem like that's the case. So where's my latest update? Oh, by the way, folks, like and subscribe. It helps out the videos tremendously. Tonight, I don't think we're going to be doing a live stream. I got something to do in the morning. But what I'm going to try to do is put out a video in the daytime and a live stream for those who like live streams at night. Sorry. Oh, what do we think? What do we think about all these drones in the sky? I'm from Florida. There's no drones over here, but I hear all drones over Jersey, drones over LaGuardia. I mean, that kind of sounds nuts. All right, here we go. All right, so the Yankees have interest in signing the 53 home run slugger. So the Yankees haven't made any extra deals with, obviously they missed out on Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker going to the Cubs. So they're going to be looking for offense. So regardless is if the offense is going to come in the form of Alonso or a Bellinger, it really kind of jacks up the price. I mean, the good thing is if the Yankees really are focused on Alonso. I heard this, somebody messaged me and said this. They said that, Christian Walker, hopefully somebody buys Christian Walker, and then the Yankees are left with no options. I mean, yeah, if you're a Yankee hater, that would be, I guess ideal, but I could care less. I could care less. I want the New York Mets to secure talent, to secure talent. So, that's why I would love the Mets to get this done as soon as possible. And then also, you see the effect that Juan Soto has on the players in the rest of the lineup. Imagine an effect that he would have on Mr. Pete Alonso. All right, forget that. All right, another thing I want to bring up. Juan Soto. Juan Soto made big news yesterday in his press conference, and he said that he didn't contact any of his former Yankees after the World Series. So, that was a big statement. That was like, oh my God, how come the Yankees didn't reach out to him, this and that? And now it comes out that this is what it comes out. Bob Nightingale said this, that Juan Soto changed his phone number. And now people are throwing shade at Juan Soto, like, oh, he changed his phone number. Of course, Aaron Judge can't reach him. Of course. But in the meantime, people who weren't even the teammates of Aaron Judge, Brandon Nimmo, Steve Cohen, Scott Boras, all these people were able to reach Mr. Juan Soto. So don't give me that BS that you couldn't reach Aaron Judge because there was a changed telephone number. That is BS, straight BS. Brandon Nimmo never had his number. How come he was able to reach out? How come? How is that the deal? You could have always reached out to get a new telephone number. That is ridiculous. That is insane. I know people are trying to cope with why they didn't get Juan Soto, but that is crazy. I'm going to still say it. Juan Soto had mixed or negative feelings about going back to the Bronx. I'm just going to go. There are just too many things to say. He didn't think that they had a winning future or as winning of a future as the New York Mets. He looked at the New York Mets more favorably. I know the Yankee fans hate to see that or hear that, but he looked at the New York Mets situation as more favorably. He looked at Steve Cohen as being more aggressive. Looked at Steve Cohen as being willing to dole out more money. He looked at, the whole situation. Hey, you know what? They don't care. They'll give me a suite. They care about my family. They will do whatever it takes to make me and my family a part of their family. The Yankees, I'm just a number. They don't care. They didn't do it for Jeter. They didn't do it for Aaron Judge. Who cares about Mr. Juan Soto? Things became too difficult, and Juan Soto made this decision more than just money. It was all the same offers at the end. There were 3 or 4 offers around the same amount of money. So again, give credit to Steve Cohen for Juan Soto. But let's get going. We need pitching, and more pitching. So what the hell are our options now? What are our options now? And let me go over. I got a list here. And we actually went over a lot of these options on our live stream last night, but let's just go over them very quickly. So as we know, we'll go over this. We'll go over the 10th best option left is Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty is a guy who's, been very inconsistent, but he has also shown flashes of brilliance. Last year, he in certain situations with the Dodgers, pressure situation where he can rise to the occasion. And, David Stearns, he likes players like that, especially players who have come on as of late, who has improved as of late. As their career has developed, they get better. So Jack Flaherty is an option, no doubt about it. Okay, so a number 9 option would be Mr. Nick Pivetta from Boston. Nick rejected the qualifying offer from Boston. And also, watching our live streams, there are a couple things that, I identified that I liked about Nick Pivetta. Actually, a lot of things. His expected earner and average was a lot lower than his true earner and average. He's got a decent K rate. He's got a decent walk rate. He's got a couple good advanced numbers where I could see where David Stearns would look at and say, hey, you know what? His ability is a lot more than his actual numbers. The only thing that kind of stinks is there's a qualifying offer attached. So that is the downside to Nick Pivetta. And then if you want to look at just his straight outcome, his straight numbers, they are not that great. All right, so another option, and this would be a trade candidate, Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo is entering his age 27 season. He's just going to earn $8.6 million in 2025, so he's pretty young. He's inexpensive, and he's got 2 more years remaining of control. He's got amazing, tantalizing upside, which he displayed in 2022 and 2023. This past year, very tough year. 5 earned run average in 66 innings. Before he had a stress reaction in his lower back to end the season. Luzardo threw a career high 178 innings in 2023. So what you're doing in a Jesus Luzardo, if that's your guy, you're buying very low. You are buying low there. So in the last 3 guys, you got Jack Flaherty, you got Nick Pivetta, Jesus Luzardo. All right, so the number 7 option, and this would be an option that I would execute. This would be a guy I would pursue, and another trade candidate, and this guy is Luis Castillo. The Mariners are listening currently to offers for Castillo, who is entering his age 32 season and has 3 years left of $72 million remaining on his contract, which also includes a vesting option for 2028 based on innings pitched in 2027. Meaning, I think if he pitches 140 innings or 150 innings, that means automatically you got him as a 4-year contract. That means 2028 season, that kicks in. So this could potentially be a 4-year contract. So you would have him age 32, 33, 34, and 35. But you know what? Castillo looks like one of those guys with a lot left. Castillo's fastball and slider were very strong in 2024 via Baseball Savant. You could check that out. His 4-seamer averaging 95.6 miles per hour, so 96 miles per hour, and he has been as reliable as it gets when it comes to taking the ball, throwing 150 innings or more every full season since 2018. And this is what I mean, folks. I mentioned earlier on in the video, so many projects. I mentioned, obviously, the 2 recent guys we got, Holmes and Montez, very iffy there. But even if you break this down even further, Kodai Senga, your number 1 supposed ace, pitched no innings last year. 5 innings and 1 or 2 innings in the playoffs. So you can't expect him. He's going to be on an innings limit. So there are many question marks. And if you want to go further, Tyler McGill, Paul Blackburn, David Peterson, all question marks for the New York Mets. It would be very, very important for us to get a Luis Castillo. Very, very important. Okay, so I would go after that option, and then I would go after this option, Sean Manaea. Obviously a free agent. Manaea was tremendous for the Mets in 2024. He pitched like an ace down the stretch, no doubt about it. Pitched like an ace after dropping his angle to more of a side armor. After the season, he expressed a sincere desire to be back, and that's also what I like. I want guys who want to be here. The Mets have an interest in a reunion with Manaea, who is entering his age 33 season, but it's possible his market gets to a point New York is not comfortable going. It's also fair to wonder whether he can repeat what he did in late 2023. Well, that would be late 2024. If any teams offer Manaea 5 years, it's very hard to see a scenario where he's back in New York. But if his contract winds up being something like $100 million for 4 seasons, and that's where I think it's going to be, folks. Eovaldi got 3 years, $75 million. Severino got 3 years, $67 million. I think Manaea is going to get that extra year, and that extra year would bring him to around $100 million in 4 years. If it does get to 5 years, I think we're getting a little nuts there. Getting into his age 33 season, and he only had 1 good season, 1 decent season, or at that high level. we are getting a bit nuts. But I don't know how desperate the Mets are going to be because they're not being aggressive early. Okay, so let's go to the fifth option. The fifth option would be none other than Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler is easily kind of like the most intriguing free agent this pitcher this offseason. Entering his age 30 season, Buehler was one of the best pitchers in baseball from 2018 to 2021. He could sign a 2-year prove-it deal that contains an opt-out after the first season that makes the low risk and an incredibly high reward. That's what pitchers in his predicament would normally do. Hasn't been successful since 2021. You got to prove you could be healthy. Buehler struggled during the 2024 regular season. Big time, but he was recovering from Tommy John surgery. So, I mean, that was to be expected. But at the end of the day, he closed things out in Game 5 of the World Series against the Yankees, and he looked pretty dominant. So, that could be another option. But I got to say, that's going to be under the project title. So that wouldn't be more of a guarantee. Okay, so now here's a guarantee. Here's a guy who is a guarantee, but he's going to cost you. That is Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, you would have to make a trade with the Padres. With Cease, he's a year away from free agency, and he is owed roughly $13 million in his final season of arbitration. So not much money. The right-hander can have consistency issues. Cease sandwiched a year where he had a 4.48 ERA in 2023 between seasons where he has a top 4 finisher in Cy Young voting 2022 and 2024. When he's on, Cease can be dynamic. He also posts up. He throws innings, 177 innings or more in each of the last 3 seasons, and he was terrific for San Diego last year. 3.47 ERA, 1.06 WHIP, while striking out 224 batters in 190 innings. Very good. So, I mean, he's a guy, again, he's going to cost you. And then, if you're David Stearns, are you going to sign him? Is he a guy that you want to invest in long term? So there's more question marks there. But he's also a guy that, would add talent to your rotation. I mean, I would equate that to the Dodgers adding Tyler Glasnow to last year when they traded, and then all of a sudden the Dodgers pulled out an extension, and it was a pretty fair extension. I mean, if Cease would take the extension Glasnow took, I mean, then I'd be more willing to make a trade. All right, so some more options. And the options are, they're getting more solid. Another option would be Framber Valdez, and that's an Astros trade candidate. The Astros look like they are restructuring their team, restructuring their payroll. Like Cease, Valdez is 1 year from free agency, and like San Diego, Houston has reportedly made Valdez available. Valdez's expected salary via arbitration will be $18 million, making it heftier than Cease, but obviously wouldn't be an issue for the New York Mets. And if the Astros really are retooling on the fly, the Mets should make a serious push for Valdez, according to the writer. The 31-year-old has been one of the truly elite pitchers in baseball since 2021 and has averaged a shade over 190 innings pitched each of the last 3 seasons. So, Valdez is a guy I'm kind of on the fence about. Obviously he's older, going to be 31 years old. And then when he's a free agent, he's going to be 32. So, I mean, he's got talent. He's clearly been successful in the past. The thing I do like is he's been successful in the playoffs, but how much is it going to cost you? How much is it going to cost you? Now, this one is a little bit confounding. Number 2, Jarrett Jones, Pirates trade candidate. The other day, it was said that the 23-year-old fireballer could be available. Jones will make less than $1 million in 2025, and he's not even arbitration eligible until 2027. So this is one that I kind of scratch my head about, because a team like the Pirates, that's a guy with 5 years left that you would want to keep, right? Unless they think that they're going to get a monster return. That could be. I mean, his numbers last year, I'm going to say weren't through the roof. He was 6-8, 4.14 ERA, 9.8 strikeouts per nine. His WHIP was 1.19. But this is a guy with a lot of upside, a lot of upside. So I guess basically, I'd say right now the Pirates are fishing if they can get a monster fish on the hook. But I don't think the Mets are going to be that monster fish. I'll tell you that. And then here's the other guy. So on this list, the guys that I said I would go after are I go after Luis Castillo, number one, Sean Manaea, number two, Dylan Cease, number three, and Walker Buehler, number four. But now here's a guy that no matter what happens, you have to go after, and that is Roki Sasaki. He's only 23 years old, and basically he's going to cost you nothing. He's going to cost you nothing, but that also means every team in baseball will make a play for Sasaki. Because of his age and because of the international signing rules, he can only sign a minor league contract and will be paid via his team's international free agent bonus pool money. So, can David Stearns pull off a miracle? The Mets have designated most of their bonus pool money to another top prospect. I believe they only have 1.2 million left. They've designated 5 million to another player. So that's going to be tough, but Sasaki has already said he wants to go to a place where he can get a great amount of endorsements. He's not going to go to a place with more endorsement opportunities than New York City. So, that's something to heavily consider. Also, in the Mets' favor, Sasaki and his agency have also spoken very highly about the Mets' Jeremy Hefner and the Mets' pitching lab, how they work with pitchers to become better and improve them. And Sasaki's agency has told Sasaki to be very forward thinking. The money will come down the line. The money will come down the line. Now, if they're also telling him you want to go to a place that's going to work with you and make you a better pitcher, a better player, and is a great place to win, and you can have endorsement, and is a big city, and you can compete for a World Series, and you're not going to be in the shadow of a Shohei Ohtani, the shadow of a Yamamoto. I mean, there is no other better place than the New York Mets. The New York Mets can offer him a rotation spot. I think it is perfect. He can basically carry the Mets to a legendary, dynasty, like Juan Soto says. And the Mets are an up-and-coming team. The Yankees, yeah, maybe that could be an option, but the Yankees have already won 27 times already. It's no special thing to go over there and win. The Yankees have a brand built up all over the world. It's no special thing building up their brand. If you go hand in hand, I think it's a big possibility. Yamamoto went when Ohtani went. I could see Sasaki following Juan Soto and going to Queens. So that's my thing. This is my dream scenario for Roki Sasaki. Obviously, my dream scenario. I love to see Luis Castillo here. I love to see Sean Manaea back. And you want to get crazy? You want to get crazy? Go after Dylan Cease. That's how you get crazy. That's what the Yankees have done. That's what the Dodgers have done. These are the teams you're competing with. Now, our offense may be a little better than the Yankees, but, the Yankees are making, I got to say, the last move, I like that move. I like that move. I still think we're better, but 2 or 3 more moves of these like these by Brian Cashman, we'll have to talk about it. Well, folks, thank you so much for staying with me. It's been over a half hour, so I appreciate that. If you didn't get a chance, like the video. Again, I apologize. I spelled Stearns' names wrong, but you know what? He doesn't deserve it until he starts making these legit big moves. No, I apologize. I'll fix his name. Don't worry. All right, folks, have a great night. I will speak to everybody soon, and yep, there we go. I'll speak to you soon.